this is Cinema.
And this is Johannes.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Furnace, a newish game from Ivan Lessin, published by Hobby World and Arcane Wonders.
It plays from 2 to 4 players in about 30 to 60 minutes.
So this was a game published by Hobby World over a year ago, actually basically almost, 1.5 years ago.
Oh.
And we sadly was not able to get a copy of the game back then, but now we have it and
Yay.
we have played it, which is the basis of the review.
That's how it works.
We have actually just not watched the playthrough video and then we're going to talk about it. We have actually played with the components.
For real.
And
Believe
actually,
it or not.
we did follow the rules. We did not just play with the components like, oh, these are fun, you can put them in a tower.
You can,
no,
actually.
You can put some of the components in a tower, but that's not what this review is based on. It's review based on actual gameplay of the game. So, Furnace. This is an engine building auction game where you are playing 4 rounds of a very simple gameplay. It's a gameplay loop of you're doing an auction and then you're going to use all your resources to transform them into other resources and hopefully into money, because money makes the world go round. So, and also makes you win the game. Yes. So you are having cards in front of you in a line, but depending on the number of players, there's a different number of cards, and you're going to bid them down with tokens. You have a token of 1, a token with 2, a token with
3,
and a token with 4. Like, it's crazy how that works, counting. So you can then bid on the cards with one of those tokens. So let's say I put a 2 on one of the cards. Then I'd say like, oh, I'm going to win this card with a 2. But then you might place a 1 on it. What? Yes, this is one of the only auction game where you can bid lower, because sometimes you don't want to win the auction, you want to lose the auction to get bonuses instead. So the only rule when you place one of the tokens on a card is that you can't place a token with the same number that's already there, and you can't place a second token of your color on the card. After everybody has placed all of their tokens, you're going to resolve the cards from left to right, basically giving a compensation to people who didn't win and giving the card to the people who win, and then you're going to run all your cards. So let's say I have a card that have, I can spend 2 oil to get 2 iron. I'm going to do that, boom, boom. Then I'm going to spend an iron here to get 4 coins. I'm going to spend an upgrade a card, flip it over so it's no better, and I'm going to use that card to do these things, and you get the gist. That is what you're going to do for 4 rounds. Very simple, very straightforward. So let's talk about this game.
Yes.
Let's start by talking about
the looks of it, the artwork and components
of the game.
It's fine. It's wooden cubes and components and discs, and those are fine. I think the artwork also is fine.
I think artwork is great.
Yeah, you think so?
Yes,
okay.
I love the style of the artwork, and I also think like it's very fun to see like a oiling platform look very beautiful. Like there's a sunrise or sunset in the background. True. Some of the cards looks really, really good.
Yeah.
It's not one of those games. Like it's one of those games where I look more at the symbols to what I can do than the artwork.
I have to be honest. I didn't pay much attention to the artwork.
So you're like, the artwork looks fine. I didn't even look at it.
Yes.
But I think it looks really nice. I think it fits the theme of being like a industrial revolution. It feels the artwork fits the theme a lot. I would kind of like have loved it to have cardboard resources instead of the wooden one, because the artwork for the resources are really nice. That would have been pretty cool actually.
Yeah.
But the wooden one also are good. So yeah, I enjoy that. Rulebook wise, it's very good. Like it's so simple. Like it's a very, very simple game. You do the auction and then you resolve the cards, and you do that 4 times and you're done. It's like it's one of the simpler kind of games in that way. We have played it. We have only played 3 and 4 players. It took us about an hour to play those player counts. We did not play the 2-player game with there's a dummy player, because the 2-player auction game, doesn't really, we didn't basically spend time on that. So tell us if it's amazing, let us know. So sorry we didn't play that, because it didn't work out that way this time around, because there's so many games and so little time.
Many games.
So yeah, Playtime player count, I think it flows well. I think it feels like it's a good amount of time.
I agree. I feel like it doesn't overstay its welcome.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's interesting both with 4 players and 3 players.
Yes.
It's scaling a bit with the cards, but it's still like a tight auction. Like it felt even more interesting with 4 maybe, if I had to choose, but it worked fine with 3 as well.
Absolutely, not at 3, but no, at 3, like in the forest, we didn't play with that.
We'd play with
I don't
bricks.
know. I don't even know if you said it wrong or something. It was a very bad joke from me, like one of the oldest jokes in the book.
Like,
But
insert laughter here.
So let's talk about the gameplay, which is what is interesting. And there's basically two parts. There's the auction and there's the engine builder resolve, changing resources into other things. So let's talk about the least interesting thing first, which is the changing resources into other things.
Yes. When you get cards, you have them in front of you, and in the what do you call it? The resolving step? No,
I don't remember. Like there's
basically take the resources and convert them into other resources or money, and you have to you just get to use one card
every card once.
Yes, and you kind of have to like decide, okay, which order is it best for me to do it now, and you try to get the most things out of it, basically.
I felt like, especially when you starting to get a few cards, it's kind of like messy to know which card you have used and not used. So I was finding myself moving them around, tapping them, and doing these things to make it make sense. But then I also heard that there was like a variant that people saying like you should play it with this variant, which is a stricter variant. And we did that, and that was way better.
Yeah, I
so
think
how does that work?
Then when you get new cards at the end of the auction phase, you basically put them in front of or in the back of your queue. So you have to decide, okay, well, this order that I have already with the cards are set. So do I want the new card to be at the back or at the front? And that eliminates some AP, I feel like, because in the next step
absolutely.
then you don't have to be like, oh, now I want to do it in this order. You have the order, just do it. So I like that more.
Yeah, I actually that's kind of like it's meant to be like a stricter, more like thinky way, but it also actually, as you said, I agree with that. Like that's an interesting thing that just happens because you have to resolve them in the order, and I enjoy that more. Like it just like adds that tiny little bit of restriction, which makes it a bit more interesting. The choices is a bit more interesting.
Yes, I agree.
Because you need like, oh, this would have been right there, but I can't place it there. So do I want to do it before that or after that? Because if I put it there, I can use those resources. But if I put it there, I can I can upgrade it before I use it, and all of those things. So
yes,
I really feel that if you play it like the way in the rulebook the first time, I think, like, and then you can play it depending on what you like. But if you are like us and you enjoy more of like the crunchy things, I think that is a great way to play. So let's talk about the auction. You are not a hugely fan of auctions in games, but I'm going to say something now because this might be one of the most interesting auction mechanisms I have seen in a very long time.
Yeah, it's super innovative. I just like, why haven't anyone thought of this? Because it's
and probably
genius.
Someone has done something similar, but we have not seen anything like this.
But I loved it. Like, I don't...
Sunniva just said love when it compares to an auction.
Yes.
For the first time in her life.
This is a very good mechanism. I think like this is solid, and I think like wanting to lose an auction.
Yes.
That is so cool. And sometimes it's very mind gamey, that auction thing, because you're like, okay, I want to, and you do it, you solve them from left to right, which also means that there's some bonuses that aren't good to me now, but might be good if they were later, but now they aren't. And also the balance between, okay, I want that bonus, I want those resources, but also I want to have that card so I can score points for it. So what is more important? And the thing that if you, for example, win a card with a 4 and I lose it with a 3, then I get the bonus 3 times.
Yeah, so at the top of the card there is like something that is compensation, and that can be either just resources or transforming the resource into other resources. So let's say I need oil, but I don't have any card to get me oil. Oh, there's a compensation there where I can transform all of this stone I have into oil, and that is really, really neat.
Yeah.
And then it's really cool because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this 2 here because I really don't want to win a card, but then nobody else bids on the card, and I'm gonna be, oh, I won that card I didn't want because you guys knew that I wanted that card, and so it's that part is so cool, and it's kind of actually crunchy and interactive. I feel like it might end up with some AP the first time you play it with new players, like it did happen when we played it, like people were thinking a lot about what they want to do, but I feel like it's a very interesting mechanism. I like it, like the engine, like the trading things for other resources, we have seen so many times before. It's nothing new, but it works well here. But this mechanism of the auction is so meaty, like it's the game.
Yeah,
it is the game. I agree, like, but it is basically it's so nice, it's so interesting, and it's so fresh. It feels like something that, as I said, why haven't anybody done it this way before?
Yeah.
Caveat, we don't know if nobody ever has done
it.
it.
Makes perfect sense, and it's so interesting because you're always responding to what the other players do. So if you, for example, put a 3 and another player puts a 2 on the same card, and I was just like, no, I can't put these 2. So do I want to get that bonus once, or do I want to win the card? But then you get a lot of resources because then you get to do the bonus 3 times. And yeah, I think that's the problem with the AP, because it's so many things to consider, but it's very interesting as well.
It is very, very good. One last thing to talk about before we go into final thoughts is the special powers.
Yes.
Because everybody gets a special power at the beginning of the game, and all of them are super OP.
Yeah, I love the special powers. It makes you, I don't know if it changes your strategy, but it makes you do awesome things. So, for example, one time I had this extra disc, which was a 2, that made me either get another card or more bonuses, which is really good. Or the other one, which is if you get compensated, if you don't win the card, then you pretend that you have like a number higher, so you get more bonuses. And there's some cool, really cool special powers there.
I agree. I think those are really, really nice. I enjoy games with like special powers that kind of, because the rest of the game is kind of going to be the same every time you play it. So this special power is what's going to change up the game. I don't really mind the variability like not being super high because it's a short game, and that player interaction, it's in the auction, it's what making the game basically a game, or making it the interesting game that it is.
Yes.
So should we do some final thoughts?
Yes, you can start this time.
I'm going to start.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, switching it around. So Furnace is a very neat game. As I said, like the engine building of doing the actions, changing them for things is fine. It's okay. I enjoy the like fixed variant where you place the cards in a row and you have to do it that way. That's the only way I would play the game.
Yeah,
I think that is really neat. But the auction mechanism is what is going to get me back to play the game again. Like if somebody's gonna, if I know somebody that's going to be like, oh, I like playing auction games, I'm going to say, oh, have you played this? This is a very interesting auction mechanism.
Yeah.
This is one of those games I really want to keep it cause of that one and it's fun. It's fun to play. I enjoy playing it. I enjoy like trading my resources, trying to do the best of that. I do have fun doing that. Like sitting and looking at that and saying, okay, but if I use those now, I need to have 4 more, because then I want to try to get them from that auction so I can run my whole thing and get the most money. I think that is very, very fun. But it wouldn't have been enough if it wasn't for that auction mechanism. But that really elevates the game. I really enjoy it. I'm going to give it a 7.5. It's a very solid, very fun game. I enjoy Furnace.
Yeah, I basically agree with everything. I think this is a very interesting and clever take on the auction mechanism, which makes me really enjoy it, because regular auctions I'm not that keen on. So I think this is so smart. I think it's unique. I think if you haven't checked it out, you are doing it now. But if you like auction mechanism, or if you don't like it, check it out either way. I'm not in love with the game. I think it's above average. I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Boo, no, okay. It's okay. You can give it whatever you want, as long as I'm not giving like a 2.
Give it a 1.
I'm going to give it a 1. It's not even a game. So yeah, that is the end of another review. Thank you so much for watching. If you are still here and you have not subscribed, you can do so now by
clicking the subscribe button.
That is free and fun for everyone. If you want to do something that's not free, you can go to patreon.com/boardgamingramblings and help us support us there. And that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye bye.